welcome to the latest installment of My Dad Listens to This. I'm Juliet, the daughter.
And I'm Kevin, the dad. And before we start, thank you to listener T. Tom Gast, who informed us Jeff Skunk Baxter got his nickname due to his foot odor, which must have been pretty bad, and hopefully Baxter's hygienic habits have improved.
This concludes our new segment, Gross Rock and Roll Facts. I don't know.
So many.
I don't know how many we're going to get in the future, but there we go. All right, and for this week's episode, in tribute to my Nana, who recently celebrated her birthday, we're covering her favorite artist, Tom Jones. So, Dad, what do we need to know?
Well, we need to know that Thomas John Woodward was born June 7th, 1940, in Treforest, Wales. He started singing at an early age and would sing at family gatherings, weddings, as well as in the school choir. At 12 years old, he was diagnosed with tuberculosis and spent 2 years in bed recovering.
Oof.
When he was 16, Tom married his high school girlfriend, Melinda Trenchard, when she became...
Pregnant?
Good.
Yeah.
Yep, to support his family, Tom worked in construction and at a glove factory. Then we leap to 1963. Tom was the front man for Tommy Scott and the Senators, a local Welsh group. They had a following and recorded some songs, but nothing happened. However, at one of the shows, Tom met manager Gordon Mills. Mills took Tom to London, got him a recording contract with Decca Records, and changed Tom's last name to Jones to cash in on the Academy Award-winning film. And
Oh, that's why.
yep, just an aside here, I've read the book Tom Jones by Henry Fielding twice. The first time it was a fun read, but for some reason the second time was just a slog.
Maybe you didn't enjoy it as much. Things
So
change.
my advice, read it once, put it down, walk away. Never read it again.
And the movie?
Never seen the movie.
Okay.
I figured, well, I read the book. Anyway, Tom's first song came in 1964 and was called Chills and Fever, and it went nowhere. In 1965, his second song, It's Not Unusual, blew up big, especially after pirate radio station Radio Caroline promoted it. It hit number 1 in the UK and number 10 in the US.
Not bad.
Not bad. Now, also that year, Tom sang the theme songs to 2 movies,
Okay.
Thunderball and What's New Pussycat.
That same year?
That same year,
Wow.
1965, yeah. The latter song, he wasn't too sure about it. He thought it was dumb.
What's New Pussycat?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but Burt Bacharach convinced him somehow that it wasn't. And he told him, one of the quotes is that he needed a big voice to put this song across.
Yeah, we'll get into that later.
Oh, we will. In 1966, Tom Jones won the Best New Artist Grammy, beating the curse of that award, which is basically you win it and you're never heard from again.
Deserved, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
However, Tom's popularity was beginning to slip just a little after he won it.
Oh, maybe you couldn't completely defeat it then.
Well, Gordon Mills was able to defeat it because he decided to turn Tom into a crooner, and he came roaring back with songs like Delilah and I'll Never Fall in Love Again. In 1967, Tom performed in Las Vegas for the first time. This was where he established his look, the open half-button shirts and the tight pants.
Uh-oh.
No sausage required. He cut back on recording and focused more on performing. He also had met Elvis, and the two of them became lifelong friends.
Aww.
When they were both performing in Vegas, they would tear the place up. Tom was irresistible to the ladies, and by his own account, he figures he had sex with about 250 groupies a year during the height of his popularity.
Did he get any diseases?
I don't believe he did,
That's kind of a miracle then.
but I think he had to put a revolving door on his bedroom. Anyway, amazingly, he and Melinda stay married until her death from cancer in 2016.
Wow.
So that's 59 years.
Wow.
So I'd like to think she got her little revenges somehow.
Probably, yeah.
Anyway, one of his most serious affairs was with Mary Wilson from the Supremes.
Oh.
They met when Motown took their stable of artists to tour London, and you can get a lot more details about that relationship in her autobiography, Dreamgirls.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Tom got his own TV show, This is Tom Jones,
Any good?
which ran from 1969 to 1971. I was only like 6 to 8 years old during that span, so I really can't remember. I'm sure I was probably exposed to it at some point.
So it did air in the U.S. then.
Oh, yeah, there were 65 episodes in all. He was nominated for a Golden Globe in 1969, and among his guests on that show, The Who, Janis Joplin, Stevie Wonder, The Fifth Dimension, Dusty Springfield, and the Moody Blues. If you go on Wikipedia, there's actually a photograph of Tom and Janis singing some sort of song. It doesn't say what.
That must have been interesting.
That must have been, yep. Tom was still recording, getting hits with Daughter of Darkness, I, Who Have Nothing, and She's a Lady. Then in 1971, the hits stopped coming for 6 years.
Yay.
1977, he made his comeback with the country-tinged Say You'll Stay Until Tomorrow. Tom made his acting debut in 1979 with a made-for-TV movie, Pleasure Cove. Yeah, never saw it.
Okay.
He even guest starred on an episode of Fantasy Island
Really?
in the 1980s. Yeah. I read the synopsis and I just can't remember it. He was, I think, some sort of cowboy or something. I don't know. Also, in the 1980s, he started to record country music. He scored 9 hits on the country top 40 charts from 1980 to 1986. Also, in 1986, Gordon Mills died, so Tom's son, Mark, became his manager.
Good or bad?
I don't know. He's still performing, so I guess it was good.
All right.
In 1988, Tom was back in the top 40 with his cover of Prince's Kiss.
I thought that was Prince's.
It hit number 31, which it should have been higher in my opinion. And the video won the MTV Video Music Award for Breakthrough Video. I have no idea what that means, but he won one.
Okay.
In 1989, he got his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Appropriately, his star is right in front of the Fredericks of Hollywood lingerie store because,
Yeah.
where else? Then the 90s. He appeared at Glastonbury, starred as himself in the Simpsons episode, and also appeared as himself in Mars Attacks, hosted the 1994 MTV Europe Music Awards, and covered Randy Newman's You Can Leave Your Hat On for the Full Monty soundtrack.
Any good?
Not bad from what I can remember. He also collaborated with Van Morrison on an album, and in 1999 he released Reload, which was cover duets with artists such as Portishead, The Cardigans, Van Morrison, The Pretenders, and Robbie Williams.
Ooh.
He spent the 2000s recording, performing, and raking in the awards, including being knighted in 2006 by Queen Elizabeth.
Yep, he's a sir.
So that's Sir Tom to you. From that time on, Tom just does what he wants. He still puts out records, tours, and he's also been a coach on The Voice UK.
Yep.
His autobiography, Over the Top, came out in 2015. He's an icon in the UK and has millions of fans around the world.
Yep.
One of those fans is my mom, a.k.a. your grandmother.
Yep, me Nina.
Yep, there was no escaping the man when I was growing up. So, of course, it would stand to reason that eventually I would get my own best of by the man. You can call it Stockholm Syndrome.
Yeah,
if
I
you
was
want.
about to say, do you think it's just because you were so conditioned to like it because it was played all the time?
Well, as we go through the songs and my little reviews, you can form your own opinion.
Okay. Do you want to tell the story about when Grandpa...
Back in the 70s and 80s, Tom would come almost every summer to the Warwick Musical Theater, which was just a great place to see a show. The stage was in and around, and it would revolve, so no matter where you sat,
You could see it.
you got a view. Yep. And I know that Nana and Grandpa saw him at least once. Could have been twice. Could have been more. Anyway, Tom would come out, and ladies would throw their unmentionables on stage.
And apartment keys.
And that too. And my mom would just lose her mind. And my dad was just quite amused by it all. He thought the whole thing was hilarious.
Well, in Portugal, all they have is fado. I can't really think of a Portuguese Tom Jones equivalent right now.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Anyway, the complete Tom Jones came out in 1992. It has 20 non-chronologically ordered songs, and it's also missing a few that really should have been on here. So what I did was I came up with my own Tom Jones best of. I took 14 songs from the complete Tom Jones and added the missing ones. All except 2 of them hit the Billboard Top 40.
Okay.
Tom Jones has been eligible for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame since 1988.
You think he should get in?
I don't know. I've been wrestling with that conundrum for a while.
He should be in some Hall of Fame somewhere.
He probably is in England if they have such a thing.
Oh, like an English equivalent?
Yeah, I know he's won the Brit Awards. I can't remember what it was for, but he's highly revered over there. So I like to think he's enshrined over there somewhere. I think maybe if he had been able to keep his song streak going a lot longer in the U.S., maybe he might have.
Well, even with the songs he sings, he's more so of a crooner, and his music isn't so much rock and roll as it has rock and roll moments or influences in there. It's mostly big band stuff.
That is true.
Yeah.
So let's dive into this, shall we?
First one, it's not unusual.
It's not?
No, it's not really. This was the first song that Mom played for me when I asked who Tom Jones was, and it was the black and white clip from Ed Sullivan. She also had me call my Nana and ask who Tom Jones was because I had this compendium of all the Simpsons episodes, and I read he was a guest star once, and I had no idea who he was. So that's how I knew what this song was before I came aware of its real claim to fame due to The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air with the Carlton, which, fun fact, Alonzo Ribeiro reprised years later on Dancing with the Stars and said he got those moves from Eddie Murphy's White People Can't Dance, which you can see the blueprint. I went online and I Googled the clip and I went, yep, that's it. Anyway, this song is heartbreak, but make it fun. And I love Tom Jones's singing voice. He's always got this big sound that is fantastic, and he has the ability to make parabolic arcs with his voice. Him, and I'm going to put this other guy in the group, Bobby Caldwell.
Okay.
Just a classic. What more can I say? I love listening to it by itself.
Okay. Certain things in life are not unusual. To be loved by anyone. Have fun with anyone. Go out at any time. Even be mad or sad with anyone. But it is unusual to see Tom cry.
I want to die.
Which in real life, not only unusual, but unbelievable. Anyway, this song seems to be ground zero for the swinging London scene. It just has that feel, especially the horn arrangement.
Dun, 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 dun.
And then that guitar comes in after the line, "Why can't this crazy love be mine?" One James Patrick Page claims to have been the gun for hire on this session.
Jimmy Page?
It is possible.
Wow.
He kept a record of all the sessions that he played.
Maybe Tom just doesn't remember.
Well, also a couple of other people have come out and said, no, I think I was the one who played on there.
Oh, well, I'm gonna pretend it was Jimmy Page.
I will give him the benefit of the doubt since he kept records.
He has no reason to lie about that anyway, since it's a far cry from Led Zeppelin's music.
That is true, but I mean, back then he was one of the most in-demand guitarists.
Well, sure. I mean,
oh, yeah.
Duh.
Yep. As for the drummer, get this, 4 different ones were used in order to get one with the right feel. Among them was Andy White, who played drums on Love Me Do and P.S. I Love You for the Beatles. Another was Chris Slade, who would go on to be Tom's regular drummer. He then played for Manfred Mann's Earth Band and AC/DC. Oh, and in the 80s, he played drums for The Firm, featuring on lead guitar
Jimmy Page?
Very good. Yep. Anyway, this is a great opening track. Tom lets loose with his trademark whoa, whoa, whoas at the end. He does a lot better than I do, trust me.
Yes, he does.
This may have led the BBC to refuse playing the song because they labeled it as, and I quote, too sexy, which was not a problem for pirate radio.
Nope.
Tom's voice has always had a hunky quality to it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Next track?
Oh, that's...
What's new, Pussycat?
Meow, meow, meow. Those of you of a certain age will get the commercial reference.
Oh, is that for cat food or something?
Yes, it was.
Well, that works.
I can't remember the name of the cat food, though.
Okay. The first time I heard this song was in the 1990s film Polly, about a parrot who talks and gets separated from Marie, the little girl he was gifted to who became his best friend, and he journeys to find her again. That movie is sad 90% of the time, but the ending is rewarding, and Tony Shalhoub is great in it. Now, there's a scene where Polly, I'm not making this up, is singing this song with Gina Rollins while they're driving in an RV. And that's how I first heard it.
Okay.
When you first search for this song on YouTube, the first video that pops up has a video where the thumbnail is Tom Jones's face with a look of him knowing that this song is absolute bullshit. And I love the chorus, catchy as hell, but the rest of the lyrics make me cringe. This is like a D-grade Dean Martin song.
Okay.
And the arrangements are great with a big band, but the lyrics and the oompa oompa just don't sit right with me, because it's supposed to be a seduction song, but it just comes off as weird, especially with those backup singers. What the hell are they singing? And something tells me the movie isn't that much better because it didn't get good reviews when it came out. You'd figure, Peter O'Toole, Romy Schneider, two sex icons of their lifetime. What could possibly go wrong? Yeah. And this song became well known in my generation because of John Mulaney's Salt and Pepper Diner sketch, where he goes to a diner with one of his friends and they rig the jukebox machine to play What's New Pussycat 27 times in a row with one It's Not Unusual in between. And as they said, scientists have asked the question, how can you make men cry listening to It's Not Unusual? By playing What's New Pussycat 7 times in a row. And John Mulaney wasn't my favorite comedian even when he was popular, but this sketch is great. I think I have the same opinion of John Mulaney as you do of Steve Martin. Better when he was doing small nightclub acts.
Okay, this is from the movie of the same name. And the phrase came from who else but Warren Beatty, who would greet women with it. It was the 60s.
No wonder Carly Simon wrote that song.
The song was nominated for a Best Original Song Oscar in 1966, but it lost to The Shadow of Your Smile. The movie itself sounds like a mess, and I direct you to its Wikipedia page if you're interested.
I've read it.
And please don't leap over the counter and attack me, but I have to say, Peter O'Toole, so much to answer for.
Yeah, it's a paycheck.
I figured, he was probably on one of his benders at the time, and then, he sobered up and realized, what, I did what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and that also, Romy Schneider's right there, and, he couldn't keep it in his pants, so.
As for the song, it is goofy is the politest word I could probably use.
Yeah.
As noted before, Tom had to be talked into singing it by Burt Bacharach. It's in 3/4 time, so you can waltz to it.
No.
But I don't think Johann Strauss II died for this.
I mean, we didn't even use that song when I took ballroom dance lessons at Rick. Let me put this out. We would rather use You Light Up My Life by Debbie Boone than What's New Pussycat.
Wow.
Yeah, well, also because You Light Up My Life has a slower tempo, which is easier for beginners. Anyway.
Okay, I can hear. Oh, God, that song's in my head. Thanks for nothing.
Sorry.
Anyway, the arrangement is also goofy. It's big. Everything's big, and it's in your face. And Tom sings the praises of Pussycat. Her nose, her eyes, her lips. All I can say is Bert and Hal must have been on catnip when they created this thing.
Probably. It was the 60s.
But thankfully, they saved their good songs for Dionne Warwick.
So they didn't make her sing that one.
Nope. And Tom lets the woes out all over the place.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
I mean, there's so many of them, it's trying to herd cats. Anyway, plus I think he's trying to make the best of it.
Yeah.
He's trying to make Fancy Feast out of cat shit. And I think he kind of sticks it to Bert and Hal with the way he sings the line, you and your pussycat, whatever, because he sings the word you as if it starts with the letter E. You, and pussycat, this you.
Which Dad does every single time this song comes on, and it's funny.
I'm sorry, I can't resist it.
Don't be, it makes the song bearable.
God knows it's not his best song, but it's one of his most famous.
And what did you think of the Salt and Pepper Diner sketches?
Oh, that justifies the existence for this song.
Correct. All right, next track, Thunderball.
Ball of Thunder.
I reread my notes from our James Bond episode where we did the themes from the Bond franchise, and I stand by my main points of this. This song is only great because Tom sings it. It feels like Goldfinger's little cousin, and the orchestrations are great. Some of the lyrics I thought were still kind of stupid, but not as many as I thought the last time. And I realized how much I missed the 60s film trend of there being a title track for a movie and a big band sound. Because, man, even if the movie sucks, the songs are addicting. With the exception of What's New Pussycat. As for the Johnny Cash version, tonally it doesn't sound like a James Bond theme at all, but it's a great song, and I think I like it a touch better than Tom Jones's. In my opinion, what they should have done was play Tom Jones during the intro and play Johnny Cash during the end credits. It's very Ghost Rider in the Sky.
That would have worked.
Yeah.
That would have worked. Believe it or not, this song is missing from the complete Tom Jones. And the only thing I can think of is probably licensing issues prevented the company from getting it.
Maybe.
Anyway, the theme for the James Bond movie of the same name. And from the opening notes, you know it can't be for any other type of movie.
Nope.
And
Do-do-do.
the lyrics, I was reading them and I thought, kind of ambiguous. They could be either about James Bond or the movie's bad guy,
Thunderball.
Emilio Largo.
Mm-hmm.
I think Thunderball was one of the bombs.
Yeah, I think it was, yeah.
Yeah. He always runs while others walk.
Mm-hmm.
He acts while other men just talk.
Mm-hmm.
Thunderball. Everything about this song is big, dramatic. The arrangement, Tom's voice, it's just there.
And I love that sound, and I can't get enough of it, and I miss it in movies.
And I found it on YouTube, and it was remastered, and I was listening to it on headphones.
Is it bad?
It's phenomenal.
Oh, okay.
This is why headphones were created. It's just unbelievable. Now, there's a story that when Tom hit that last note, he passed out. He says he closed his eyes and held the note for so long that when he opened his eyes, the room was spinning.
That's still bad.
So maybe dizziness, maybe, Tom on the floor.
And as I said in our last episode, you can kind of hear him petering out at the end if you listen close enough with headphones. And it's like, does someone want to get this man a chair and a glass of water?
And to me, this is possibly the most dramatic of the James Bond themes.
Really? Even more than Shirley Bassey?
I'm going to go out there and say yes, even more so than Goldfinger.
Wow, okay.
Yep. And as you said, Johnny Cash recorded his own version. He submitted it. He wrote it himself.
And he just wanted to do it for fun. They didn't ask him to.
He did submit it, but it wasn't used. And if you hear it on YouTube, you'll know why, because it doesn't sound very Bond-like.
But
it's a good song. His version is more telling you what's going on in the movie.
Yeah. Maybe that's another reason. I mean, tonally, it didn't work, but also maybe they didn't want to give too much of the plot of the movie away.
Yeah, I think so. And it reminds me of his song Johnny Yuma. The rebel Johnny Yuma. But it's just with different words. And I give the man credit. It's really, really, really good, and you should check it out.
He's the man in black. He can do whatever he wants.
Not anymore.
Oh. Yeah. Well, on that bummer, next track. Green, green grass of home.
Green?
Very green. Oh man, this song went from touching and sweet to depressing really fast. You think this is about a homecoming where his family's happy to see him at his childhood home, and his best gal is right there, but nope, he's in prison and it was all a dream. Great gut punch song. And the background singers sound like a church choir, really emphasizing the religious experience of coming back home where all is good and familiar and safe. Now I'm going to state an opinion here. Parts of the piano reminded me of the music that Vince Guaraldi wrote for the Peanuts Easter special.
Huh.
You can hear it if you go back and listen. I'd also love to hear Elvis's version of this song, because something tells me he would really connect with it as he yearned to get away from Colonel Parker. What I will say is that touch grass has a different meaning for my generation. It's basically telling someone that they spend too much time online and need to snap back to reality. You've been on the computer too long. I think you need to go touch grass. But what a beautiful song. Very poetic and poignant.
Yep, Tom reminisces about his childhood home. He's come back. He gets off the train. His parents are there to greet him. And so is Mary, who comes running to join him. And he sings how good it is to touch the green, green eggs and ham, grass of home.
Was that supposed to be a euphemism or something? Oh yeah, baby, touch my green eggs and ham. Ugh.
And then,
Sorry, Dr. Seuss.
as you said, things change. It was a dream. A green dream.
A green dream.
He cared about the environment too much. No. Tom is in prison, and it's his execution day.
Mm-hmm.
But he's going to get back to that green, green grass of home, albeit he'll be 6 feet below it.
Mm.
Tom's singing is appropriately understated on this one.
It's really good.
Yeah, he definitely knew what to do with the song. He definitely understands the material.
And what to do with his voice to make it suit each song.
Exactly. And he found this song on a Jerry Lee Lewis record whilst on a record jaunt in New York City back in the 60s. He went into some record store. He said, hey, you got the latest Jerry Lee Lewis record? Here you go. So found that song and decided, I'm going to record it. Now, in 2006, Tom sang it as a duet with Jerry Lee for Lewis's Last Man Standing TV special.
Any good?
I don't know. Haven't seen it. I'm sure it's probably out on YouTube somewhere. That's where he did like all these, Jerry Lee did all these duets with, well, obviously Tom Jones.
It was kind of like his Tony Bennett duets album or something.
You know who played on that album for one song?
For who, Jerry Lee?
Jimmy Page.
Jimmy Page is everywhere.
Because Jerry Lee did his version of Led Zeppelin's Rock and Roll.
Was it good?
It is very good. Very piano-driven, of course.
Well, they must have been geeking out that he wanted to record it in the first place.
Oh, yeah, everyone was.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, next track. Detroit City. Country bumpkin is slumming it in the big city while his family back home thinks he's a big success. If only they knew. Listening to the song, you could never tell that Tom Jones was from Wales. His voice is able to blend in with the twang of country music. And that guitar solo at the beginning with the bass notes is so good. And they have the orchestral strings match the guitar and drums perfectly. As for the spoken word bridge of the song, I thought it was unnecessary, but maybe singing it would have been tonally weird too. I don't know what the correct solution is. And what I like about this is that Tom Jones is still begging to go home, but he doesn't sound pathetic or sniveling. He sounds tired, but determined to make it back. I like Tom Jones singing country way more than I thought I would.
This was first recorded by Bobby Bare in 1963, and he won a Grammy for Best Country and Western Recording. Tom sings from the point of view of a Southerner who works in Detroit City, making the cars and at night hitting the bars. He dreamed about the cotton fields of home, his family, his girl, who's still waiting. Then he woke up and he was in prison. No, that was the other
That's
song.
the other song.
Yeah. He writes letters back home giving everyone the impression that, hey, things are great, but he wants to go home. So he may hop a southbound freight train in order to do so. And like you said, Tom nails the loneliness of this stranger in a strange land. And he just brings the right amount of empathy to it.
Next track, Delilah.
Delilah
is in love with someone else, and Tom snaps, going into a stabbing rampage in her apartment, and he's arrested by the police. Now, here's why this song doesn't work for me. It's got nothing to do with the subject matter. I love Run for Your Life by John Lennon, for God's sake. I think that Tom Jones's big voice and joyful orchestral arrangement in the middle make the song sound like something from a soap opera. And I can't take it seriously because of how heightened the drama is with such happy music.
just kind of overblown and overwrought.
Yeah, and the instrumental bridge is perfect. And the tone of Jones's voice for the other verses is perfect, but tonally, the chorus throws it off, and I feel like I'm watching a soap or a bad melodrama. And that's why I don't like it.
I can respect that.
Yeah.
This is probably one of the best known and most famous of Tom's songs. It only made it to number 15 on the top 40. Simple plot. Delilah's guy walks past her house, sees, and I quote, the flickering shadow of love on her blind.
Uh-oh, she's
and
blinking.
realizes he's been had. So he waits across the street till daylight, lets the guy leave, goes over to her house.
Stabbity, stabbity, stab, stab, stab.
But before that, she laughs in his face until she sees the knife in his hand. So who's laughing now, Delilah, huh? And all Tom can do is ask, why, Delilah?
Spock.
I was going to say, just imagine what Shatner could have done with that.
Thank God he never got access to this song. Or maybe I wish he did in some way. It would have been hilarious.
He's still alive and it's not too late. Bill, we need you to do this.
No, shh. Don't manifest that into being.
Now, Delilah is what we call a murder ballad.
Yep.
It's not the first, and it's certainly not the last.
Nope.
In 55 years after it came out, it is still controversial. The song used to be sung at rugby matches in Wales, but was banned due to its subject matter. Now, last week, believe it or not, Tom Jones came out and said he would still perform the song and told rugby fans to keep singing it because I guess it's their Sweet Caroline.
I think it's kind of weird to sing a murder ballad at a sports game. I think it would just throw it off where it's like, take me out to the ball game, and then stabbity, stabbity, stabbity. I'd be like, what the hell? I just want to enjoy my hot dogs and some baseball.
You don't mess with people from Wales. Okay?
No.
You just don't.
Well, and England did, unfortunately.
And look what it got them. And someone online asked a good question. They said, if Taylor Swift performs in Wales, will she be told she can't perform her murder ballad, No Body, No Crime? The arrangement is, I think, big band meets flamenco.
And it doesn't work.
It's dramatic as all get out. Tom cuts loose. And, I've been hearing the song for 55 years. So I'm used to it. It's not bad. I actually like the song. Yeah, it's overblown. It's overwrought. Everything is just like so big and in your face, but I think it all works. Now, by the way, back in the 90s, when Fastball's song The Way came out, Garbage's Shirley Manson astutely pointed out it's just Delilah with different words.
Which I could hear.
And it is. It really is. So listeners, check it out on YouTube. Let us know what you think.
Next track, Help Yourself. You want my kisses? Help yourself. You want my loving? Help yourself.
Tom's a giver.
Musically, this reminds me of the arrangement of that live cover of the Candyman that Sammy Davis Jr. did. Only I liked that, and I don't really like this. I think the lyrics are fine by themselves, but the music makes it seem too saccharine sweet, especially with it's either a xylophone or a marimba. The key change helps in the middle, and I think they should have kept the song in that key all the way through. It sounds more adult and passionate instead of cutesy, and like Tom Jones is acting like a little kid. Also, the opinion here that it should have ended on a great big musical swell and not on a fade out. Yeah, I get they did that for radio DJs, but in my mind, it doesn't work.
Poppy is all get out, and this song could have only happened in the 60s, and it's definitely a swinging London song if there ever was. This song would be on Austin Powers Hi-Fi.
Oh, easily. 100%.
No,
would Delilah be on there too?
I don't know.
Thunderball would.
That's true. Definitely What's New Pussycat too. Anyway, Tom tells us the best things in life are free. And to prove it, he makes us an offer to help ourselves to his lips, his arms. He's rich with love like a millionaire. The only thing that could make this song better is if he could have worked in helping yourself to his hips.
Oh, no.
For me, the funniest moment is when he gives it the old, oh, right, yeah. It doesn't get more Austin Powers-y than that.
Oh, behave.
Yes, and this was like 30 years before Austin.
Fun fact, so one of my old coworkers at Miriam Sarah, to make her laugh in the group chat sometimes, if there are days where it's too congested because things are too crowded, I would post a gif of that scene where Austin Powers can't back up that truck in the hallway.
Oh, that's hysterical.
And she would lose her shit every time because Austin Powers is one of her favorite movies. All right, next track, Love Me Tonight. Now Tom wants to help himself. I think this is one where the lines of love are a little blurred. Does he want her, or does he want some company because he's so far away from home and is chasing the thrill of a new love? That exasperated gasp is a nice little touch as he pleads his case. The chorus was also hilarious because I was just picturing Tom at this girl's place, and all of a sudden, a group of people are pressed against the window singing like something out of the Muppets.
Okay.
Which I think that would have been done if they did It's the Muppet Show with our very special guest star, Mr. Tom Jones. Yay! There are moments in the song that are more seductive with passion than others. And it's a great ending as he belts out that note and the orchestra just cuts off. Much better than Help Yourself.
More swinging. Tom knows it's late and he really should be going, but don't send him away. Oh no, love him tonight, baby. The verses pop along, but the chorus, I thought, really evoked Delilah, even with the mariachi horns. And it just, you put it all together and it's all very Vegas-y. And you hear this, and it's like no wonder women lost their shit over him.
Oh, well, I'm going to address that in the next couple songs.
You do that.
All right, next track, I'll Never Fall in Love Again. Okay.
Until the next time.
Yeah. Has he been in love so many times, or is it just he's been attracted to so many people?
I'll go with the latter.
Yeah, I think with this person, he was definitely in love because he does this sigh of someone who is so tired and weary of how he's been treated. The little gasp and cry was a bit too much. The first one was perfect. This song really does its job. It gets you down in the dumps as you feel sorry for this poor man. I think if you listened to this post-breakup, you'd be a mess. And at one point, I just let his voice wash over me and closed out the lyrics. This was the song that made me realize why all those women went nuts. You just wanted to reach out and hold him and say, everything's gonna be all right.
What's that lumpy thing I'm feeling, Tom? What?
Very sad, and it does its job.
Mm-hmm. Tom thought he knew love, but she treated him badly. He caught her in another man's arms, but this time, no knives out.
No.
And boy, does he crank it up when he gets to the chorus.
He's too tired. He's too exhausted from that last stabbing.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Look at that arm pain, that impingement in my shoulder.
Like a tennis elbow.
Yeah. He's never going to fall in love again. And he means it. He really does. And I bet she's sorry now. I just bet it. Mm-hmm. And once again, Tom, of course, brings the drama. Musically, though, this is the first time I noticed this. It has a countrypolitan feel to it.
Countrypolitan?
Countrypolitan, which is country music that has a lot of strings in the background. It's almost kind of like city meets country. Like, think of like Tammy Wynette songs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like two country music singers who could have put this song over are Charlie Rich and Charlie Pride. This would have been no problem. When I heard this song and it hit me with that countrypolitan feel, I thought those two guys could have nailed this easily. And I think maybe this might have been the start of Tom veering towards more country-tinged music.
I would have thought that Green Green Grass of Home was the first sign of that.
Yeah, I could see that.
Next track, Without Love. My first reaction to this monologue was, "Aw, man, I didn't come here to be lectured." Girl was in love with boy, boy wasn't in love with girl, and is now paying the price. This is Tom Jones sings the blues, but make it operatic. Even when I'm not too jazzed with the song itself, my God, I will always be impressed by his voice. Again, that's why he was a big hit. Not too much to say on this one. Unmemorable lyrically, but memorable for the performance.
Okay, this is our third song in a row with the word love in the title.
Yeah.
The man just was full of love.
Oh, yeah, sure. Well, that's why he had a revolving door in Vegas.
There you go. Former drifter Clyde McPhather recorded this song in 1957. Tom's version is the most famous. It went to number 5 on the top 40 in 1970. The song does open with a lecture. To live for today and to love for tomorrow
Spock
is the wisdom of a fool. And Tom goes on a little more with the lecture. Then he tells us to listen to him, please, as he'd like to tell us something that happened to him the other day.
Mm-hmm.
He woke up to find all his dreams were gone, along with the woman he loved. Lesson, without love, he had nothing. Nothing at all. And you know, when he gets to that chorus, he just opens up the floodgates. Out comes the voice, and there's just no stopping it. And again, the Charlies that I mentioned in I'll Never Fall in Love Again could have pulled this off. Ray Charles did in 1963.
Ooh, okay. Next track, Daughter of Darkness. I knew this was a tango. This song was almost great. It starts out wonderfully with a woman singing with a spooky, ethereal voice. The verses are appropriately dark, but then the chorus is too joyful and happy with the music in a way that clashes with the lyrics. The tone should have remained dark. I wanted spooky. I wanted hellish. I wanted dark because that's what the title promised, and it didn't deliver. Very disappointed.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought, hey, the drama is back. Woman. Tom can remember a woman. She took his heart and broke it apart, and so on and so forth. Apparently, she was the daughter of the devil, though they did have their own kind of heaven once. It's like Paradise Lost. This song just builds and builds with each verse until once again pulls out all the stops on the chorus. And yeah, to me, this is kind of the goofy ones. And just an aside, back in the late 60s, early 70s, Marvel Comics came out with a character called Satana, who was the daughter of the devil. Couldn't tell if she was a heroine or a villain.
Well, we're never getting that Marvel movie because the mouse would never allow it.
Well, here's the thing, like,
And they're pausing anyway.
She has her own Wikipedia page. And she went from, wearing like the stereotypical red devil suit to looking more like Aeon Flux. I don't know if you're familiar with that. You can Google that. It was a cartoon that was on MTV, and then Charlize Theron did the live action version. But now she's all dressed in black. She has the short haircut. She kind of looks like she could be just your run-of-the-mill.
That is a cool look.
Yeah. Anyway.
All right, next track.
Yes, let's please.
Okay, I Who Have Nothing.
You have nothing?
No, I have something. Great intro with the orchestra and the synths. It feels comfortably 70s. You can tell it came from the time period, but it hasn't aged poorly. The song got into stalker territory with an interesting twist in the lyrics. He could take you any place he wants, to fancy clubs and restaurants, but I can only watch you with my nose pressed up against the window pane.
Like some puppy dog.
And then you realize that this song is a villain origin story, and it becomes much more interesting. I'd love to hear this in a musical because it'd be perfect for the antagonist, and I could see it being staged and just knocking everyone's socks off. Awesome villain song.
I never looked at it that way before.
It is!
I could see it. I could see it. This is the start of something bad.
And someone just losing their mind and kidnapping somebody and ready to destroy the world and everyone in it.
I can see it because Tom actually has nothing. He longs for this woman who's treated pretty well by some guy. Oh, he can take her any place she wants. To fancy clubs and restaurants. To get it to rhyme with wants.
Well, it works because he's Welsh and it works.
It does. All Tom can do is press his nose up against the window pane, and I thought someone called the police.
Yeah, please. Officer, it's this one right here.
Especially if you got that table by the window. You're like eating and like,
who the hell are you?
Who the hell are you? And waiter? Police, please? Yep.
Someone's outside.
I can't digest my food, but he assures us that no one can love her like he can. Oh, no. Oh, no, but you know what? A job providing a steady income would help, because you can't just live on love.
No.
No, despite what all these songs tell us. I mean, even the Beatles knew, can't buy me love. You just can't. Anyway, and the drama, such drama in the music. Now, as for the lyrics, Jerry Lieber and Mike Stoller wrote the English lyrics, because this was originally an Italian song called, and I'm going to mess this up, Uno di tanti, which means one of many.
That sounds pretty good.
Benny King first recorded it in 1963, and it's been recorded a lot of times, with Tom's version being the most successful, landing at number 14 in the top 40 in 1970.
Next track, She's a Lady. Aw, yeah, this rocks. This was one of my favorite songs of his in a long time. It's also a song where Tom shows off his vocal prowess with just some vocalises that are fun to listen to, particularly the one where he goes higher and higher in pitch, and you get caught up in the fun of wondering how high he can go. He loves this woman because she's a lady, and he's going to do her right because she deserves no less. It's an awesome song I saved almost immediately to my Spotify.
Okay. Now Tom can afford to take her out to dinner because she's a wiener. And that's how he says those words and that sings those words.
Sounds like Ren and Stimpy.
It does. Oh, and also, she's a lady. And he can leave her on her own, knowing she's okay alone, unlike Delilah. And he treats her with respect, never abuses her. And yet, she can take what he dishes out, and that's not easy, according to Tom. This song sound is big. And of course, at the end, we get the wind-up in the pitch, and he's just got those woes flying out of the ballpark. He's just spraying them everywhere. Now, Paul Anka wrote this song, and in 2013, he rewrote the first verse when he and Tom sang it on Anka's Duets album, because Paul thought it was just a little chauvinistic. Maybe the line about her always knowing her place. I mean, he'd still want to take her out to dinner, though, right? Because she's a winner, wiener.
Winner, chicken dinner.
Oh, yeah. Chick-fil-A, nothing but the best for you, baby.
Next track, Young New Mexican Puppeteer. That opening was a letdown after She's a Lady, let me tell you that. I think this song shows how entertainment can be used to educate the public and bring levity to dark times. Norman Lear said, to paraphrase, laughter is the best weapon against bigotry. Or maybe not to bring levity, but to help people understand why we're going through these times and what we can do to help. This guy decides to take history and current news and present them as puppet shows to bring people levity, but also use the fun format of a puppet show to educate them, which I think is a good idea. I mean, we have oversimplified history and alternative history on YouTube animating history into cartoons. This is the weirdest protest song I've ever heard, but it's a pleasant one, and it reads more like a fable or a fairy tale. Good on you, young New Mexican puppeteer.
I'm imagining this took place in Taos, New Mexico. I have no idea. Not in the top 40. It only made it to number 80 on Billboard's Hot 100, but for some reason, it shows up on his best ofs. And yes, I was exposed to it growing up.
Yeah.
This is an odd song for Tom. No loving, no broken hearts, no pussycats. I think this probably was his Dylan move. As only Tom Jones can make a Dylan move.
It doesn't work.
Yeah, it tells a story of a puppeteer who uses his puppets to bring about social change. Like Jim Henson, possibly. He's got Lincoln to teach about civil rights, even though he also has a Martin Luther King puppet who could probably have done that better.
Way better, yeah.
Yeah. Then there's Mark Twain for comic relief, and Jesus, of course, closes out the show. And the show gets bigger. More people are, like, listening to it and maybe learning something from it. And so the people decide to build the YNMP, yes, I acronymed him, a theater, and write him up in the papers. And again, it's just all so odd. And this is one of Tom's longest songs, clocking in at over 4.5 minutes, which for him is long. To me, the whole song is worth it just to hear Tom sing the lines. He got some string and he got some wood. He did some carving and he was good. Like he's really meaning it. But yeah, this is just a very unusual song.
Next track, Say You'll Stay Until Tomorrow. One night stand gone wrong, or a relationship reaches its conclusion. Either way, Tom is in bed with this woman and doesn't want to wake up alone, which is kind of an interesting flip on When Harry Met Sally's How long do I have to hold her before I can get up and leave? He knows it's over, but he needs some time, and until that time comes, he just wants her to stay till tomorrow. This woman is either really cold-hearted, or she's got some boundaries and doesn't want Tom to break them. You kind of can't help but feel bad for the guy, though. Also, please don't, another Please Don't Leave Me song, but not a bad one.
This song is actually missing from the complete Tom Jones. It came out on EMI in England and Epic Records in the US. And again, maybe Decca just had licensing issues and they couldn't get it. So now it's 1977 and it had been 6 years since Tom had been in the top 40. This song hit number 15, but number 1 on Billboard's Hot Country Songs chart. Not bad for his first country single. There would be more. He'd rack up 10 top 40 country songs from 1977 to 1985. So it's over from Tom and his lady. Whoa, sorry. But he wants her to stay until tomorrow. He can't face the night alone. It's like he's just begging, like just one more. It's like he's a drug addict. I swear I'll quit in the morning. I just damn it. Come on. This arrangement is country as all get out. He can quit anytime he wants. This arrangement is country as all get out. And I remember when I first heard this, though, back in 1977, I realized, oh, yeah, that guy, Tom Jones, yeah, he's still around. Good for him. Yeah.
Next track, Kiss, featuring The Art of Noise. That music video is art. I don't care what anyone else says. I like the lyrics because Prince, and Tom Jones' voice a lot. I just think that this is too much techno for him, and while there's some orchestral music, it's not as much as I would like. It's almost perfect, and for that reason, I can't fully like the song. But I got what he was going for, and I'm glad this collab exists, because it shows he was willing to do different types of music without sacrificing his own style.
So Tom was doing well in the country charts, but not in the top 40. It had been 11 years since Say You'll Stay Until Tomorrow. And meanwhile, Tom had added Prince's song Kiss to his Vegas act. Brit band The Art of Noise saw Tom perform it on TV and got in touch with him. And lo and behold, in 1988, Tom was back in the top 40 at number 31. I'm Casey Kasem.
I was waiting for that.
This is almost a bare bones arrangement until we get to that break, and then The Art of Noise went all out, referencing 4 of their hits: Dragnet, Peter Gunn, Close to the Edit, and Paranomia. If you were around the 80s, which you weren't, you'd know all 4 of those songs. Tom definitely has fun with the song. Best line, think about the dance now. He does change one line, though. Prince's "Women, not girls, rule my world" to "Women and girls rule my world." Tom, just make sure they're 18 and over.
Please.
Now, Tom did run into Prince at a party at some London nightclub.
Uh-oh.
Tom said to Prince, "Thanks for the song." His Royal Badness replied, "Thanks for recording it." Then Tom excused himself and beat feet because he was afraid Prince was going to say, "Don't ever record one of my songs again."
Well, yeah, I could see Prince saying that.
This would be Tom's last appearance on the Billboard Hot 100, but he's doing very well for himself in the UK. Thank you very much.
Final track, Burning Down the House, featuring the Cardigans. Yup, it's that Burning Down the House.
I had to.
I love this cover so much because I can't believe this is the same song. You think, Tom Jones? Talking Heads? That couldn't possibly work. But it does. And I think the music works for his voice a lot better here. I can't explain why because there's no orchestral stuff at all. But maybe it's because they're not trying to replicate his big sound. And, Kiss, when they tried to replicate it, they were just shy of it. Nope, they're doing their own style, and it happens to work with this. Great cover with great harmonies. 10 out of 10, no notes.
Yep, this is Tom Jones and the Cardigans. This is missing from 1992's The Complete Tom Jones because it came out in 1999.
Oh, just missed it.
Oh, by 7 years. And yes, this is a cover of the Talking Heads song, and it went to number 7 on the UK singles chart. It was originally on Tom's Reload album, which I said featured Tom collaborating with a different musician or band for each song, such as, and I found this, Tom and the Pretenders covering Iggy Pop's Lust for Life. It's an unusual cover, but you really do need to hear Tom sing, "Of Course I Had It in the Air Before," just once in your life. As for Burning Down the House, this is such a fun cover. Nina Pearson and Tom Jones. This is a combination Mother Nature never intended, but it works so well. Nina keeps it cool while Tom is Tom, so he keeps it hot. And it's just a great video, too.
They juxtapose each other really well.
They do. They do.
And the musicians are great.
Complimenting each other, you think? Or
I don't know. Juxtaposing maybe because they're totally different.
As one of the comments below the video on YouTube said, Nina raises her eyebrow and I am just destroyed. And unfortunately, I did a lot of searching. I have no idea what David Byrne thought of this. So listeners, if you have any idea what he thought of it, please let us know. Maybe I didn't use the right sources, but I searched and no luck.
I like to think he liked it.
I would like to think so, too. I'm sure the royalty checks didn't hurt.
He also appreciates different styles of music.
That's true. And yeah, that's one thing about this is they completely rework it.
Overall, I think Tom Jones reminds me of Roy Orbison. Operatic voice for a genre of music you wouldn't expect. Tom deserves the adulation, but maybe don't bonk him on the head with underwear and apartment keys. It's his voice that deserves the adulation because of what he's able to do with it. I was expecting generic 70s and 60s pop ballads and was pleasantly surprised with some of the offerings. So lest you scoff at Tom Jones, listen to his best of and you'll be pleasantly surprised.
So, as I said earlier, 14 songs came from the 20-track The Complete Tom Jones. Those other 6 songs, forget it. So, I can't wholeheartedly recommend that you run out and buy it. However, what I can recommend is UMG's, I think that's Universal, MCA, and Geffen, 20th Century Masters, The Millennium Collection, The Best of Tom Jones. 12 tracks, one of them being Thunderball. You can get it brand new for less than $6 on Amazon. and there was not one clunker on that dozen. And that's also the collection I bought your Nana for one of her birthdays.
Which she very much appreciated.
Yes.
All right, as always, thank you for listening to the latest installment of My Dad Listens to This. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz, because remember, the more you interact with the video, the greater a chance we have of appearing on the YouTube homepage. If you follow me on social media, I post the episodes there. If you're friends with my dad, tell him what episode you want to listen to, and he'll email it to your inbox. And as always, if you appreciate the episode, feel free to leave a little tip in the Ko-Fi tip jar. As always, thank you for listening to the latest installment of My Dad Listens to This. We will be back next time with an album to nitpick and gripe about. Dad, anything you want to say before we sign off?
Two things. One, I swear, some of the pictures I saw of Tom whilst doing research reminded me of a young Andre the Giant.
I could see that. And two?
It's not unusual that we'll be back with another episode.